Meus caros amigos, meus telespectadores, my dear friends and telespectadores. This is a very nice Portuguese word. If you don't know what it means, you can check it out. But it very well describes the situation of watching from abroad. What I want to talk to you today is about the science underlying a circular economy. You probably have already heard of circular economy. This is a concept launched by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation a few years ago, and it is now on the way to become a mainstream. I am participating in several events of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation because this is clear. I appreciate the concept. The concept is based on three pillars. The first one is we have to design to avoid the waste and design to avoid pollution with the material. I completely agree. This is a very interesting concept. The second pillar is that we have to keep materials and energy as long as possible in the loop, economical loop, industrial process. I also appreciate and it sounds real and it sounds achievable for me. And the third concept is that we should be regenerative. Regenerative is a very diffuse concept, and I have a very difficult to understand what does regenerative really means. It doesn't sound for me very evidence-based, very scientifically. And this is my point. Circular economy is a too interesting, too important concept to become a kind of pseudoscience, to become a concept that will not be implemented because it's not based on real sound science. That is the point. If you understand where circular economy comes from, now they are talking about systems. They want to analyze the connections between all the important components of both material flows and energy flows, both in biology and in inanimate, in material science. So when you think about all the components and the relations between the components, you are thinking in the terms of systems. In science, the science that has studied the flow of energy, what they want to study is thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is the science that has always, and that's since the 18th century. You know Clausen, you know, I have heard from Boltzmann, and they are the fathers of this technology, the flow, of how energy flows into systems. No? And also the chemistry, how material flows into system. It's very important. We all know that there is a relation, Einstein, between energy and material, but for our discussion, we don't need to consider Einstein. We just consider energy flow separate from material flow. It's easy to discuss in those terms. When it comes to flows in biology or biology systems, which circular economy wants to study, even with their diffuse concept of be regenerative, is of course the science that studies systems is ecology. Ecology is a very interesting science. When I studied ecology in the 70s in Lund, I was fascinated. Before entering the ecology building, the Ekologihuset in Lund, I never heard of ecology. So it was fascinating for me to try to understand the systems. And I learned also, studying with my colleagues from Lund, that you should, when you enter the academia, you should put away all your ideology thoughts, all your preconception. It's very important that you adhere to the scientific method, No, first you analyze the data, and then you formulate a hypothesis, and then you can, of course, prove or not, or discharge the hypothesis. But this has to be based on solid evidence, not on ideology, not on religion's preconception or any kind of preconception. If you want to do something real in the real world, you need to base it on evidence. So the search for evidence is very important. And this is my point. I wish that circular economy and the debate of circular economy becomes more and more based on evidence. There are many misconceptions. There are many misconceptions, and I want to talk about a few of them. No, the first one, it's very often we learn that the Earth is a closed system. It's not. The Earth is not a closed system. The Earth is an open system, and it's very important. This is not something that you can make closed by any way. And the second huge misconception that I heard is that you can have zero waste or process without waste. No, you cannot. This is totally impossible. This is a thermodynamic second law will tell you each process, all the process will degrade the energy and the matter coming in. There is no such a thing as a process that run without degrading. And this degradation is really the creation of waste. And there is no way of getting. Now, we know that you cannot have zero waste. This is unfug. This is non-science. This is pseudoscience. Now, but you can, of course, design materials to have more efficiency. This is important. It's also important to know, because I hear very often this talk about, oh, nature is ideal, all the processes of the nature are perfect. This is also bullshit. Because, for instance, take the more important process, how energy is transferred to chemical energy. We are chemical energy. We live from that. Food is chemical energy. Without chemical energy, there would be no life on this planet. And everything comes from the sun. But study this first project, the conversion of sun energy to chemical energy by photosynthesis, is a 2 to 4% efficiency. 2 to 4%. It depends on how good you are. It's for C3 or C4, but it is that 2 to 4% or even less. So this is not a perfect process. This is not a close to 100%. No, it's close to a very low efficiency. In fact, in chemistry, nobody will start anything with this low efficiency. 2 to 4%, you can forget. Nobody will invest in a 2 to 4% process. We are used to much higher efficiency, and we need that to make our process economically. Why is nature so low efficiency? Well, because the sun has a lot of energy. Most of the energy of the sun that hits the earth is not used, is not converted to the chemical process. It is wasted. So that is the first thing. Most of the energy in a process, natural process, are wasted. The sun, most of our energy is used to heat the universal. So we are heating the universal because we are transferring this energy. The same thing, a lot of gases produced in the earth are escaping the atmosphere, like hydrogen. Hydrogen escape, and so the system is open. The system exchanges both heat and material. So that is the idea, to have a closed system. No, you don't have a closed system. And of course we have a lot of energy. That is what moves all the process. Now, we do have the huge problem of pollution. We do have the huge problem of inefficiency, as I just said, and we can improve. So we can design more efficient process. Even photosynthesis, which has not been solved. Nobody has come to a synthetic photosynthesis that will work with higher efficiency. But this is something that we should be working, because this, of course, will be the holy grail of the energy problem, when we can use photosynthesis this way, photosynthesis to produce green chemistry. We are coming to that. There are a lot of people doing effort into the green chemistry, and I think this is very important. Now, let's talk about two huge problems, populations. No, we are around 9 billion people. And this is the population, 9 billion people. So when you talk about the ecology of human and the earth, you have to consider the population. We are not for 100, 2 million years ago when we have in the earth, maximum 1 million people. And that is, 100,000 years ago. We are long, have long gone from zero population to 9 billion. And we are expected to reach 10 billion people. And 2030, 10 billion people. This is a lot of people. So we need to feed a lot of mouths. We need to care for a lot of lives. This is not being done by reducing growth, economical growth. It's just impossible because you will exclude all those billions of people. Of course, we do have a coronavirus, by the way, killing a lot of people, but nobody expected that this number will come to billions. We don't know, but nobody expected that. So the effect of coronavirus on the human population or other virus is not decided yet. We know that the virus is one of a way of exterminating. It has happened in Europe. No, we know that the pest cut 2/3 of the European population in 1340. So this is another situation. Life expectancy now it's all over the world, has reached 70 years and it's growing. So this is something very important. We have to deal with that also. The aging of the population. There are several issues, real issues, that we must add if you want to think systemically how to solve all of those problems. We will need food production. We will need very heavy food production, and this is not to be achieved with pseudoscience like organic. Organic is not a science. There is lots of information out there. Search for it. Scientific comparison between traditional and organic agriculture, and the results is that organics not adding value. This is fact. And you can discuss how much you love organic, the idea of organic, but it is the traditional agriculture. Traditional agriculture has problem. They have the problem of over fertilizing the earth, the chemicals, the agrochemicals. There are lots of problems that need to be addressed. But again, it's important to address the problems with the tools of facts-based science and not with the tools of ideology. And in many problems, you also have the problem of waste. What you do, we are drowning in the waste. We have a very serious plastic problem, which of course we, and I include myself because I was working, I am a polymer chemist, so I was doing polymerization. Plastics was my business, and other types of polymers. But I know this. And we need to go back to solution. And there are solutions. There are real solutions that, for political reasons, for ideological reasons, they have not been implemented. But we can do that. We can implement solutions. And there are good solutions for those problems. And they lie all in the realm of science. Again, it is science that will come to solutions to our problem. We need to embrace this. This is very important. Take the point of a lot of people talking about the importance of design. Yes, design materials. I have the great honor to have been working with design, and I also have been invited by the design school in Dessau, where Bauhaus started, to give some lectures. And this for me was a great pleasure to interact with designers. But again, design has been around, from Bauhaus is 1919, and to today with different schools. The school of Ulm is the most modern. They think they had the heritage of Bauhaus. And I have interacted in Ulm a lot to tell you that no design has really thought about products afterlife. Just as little as chemists have thought that. So design is important, but design also needs to change. They need to change their approach. It's not about ergonomy. It's not about aesthetics. And it's not about only communication, although communication is very nice. Design of communication is very nice. I love aesthetics. And I also love ergonomy. It's very nice. But none of these pillars from the design technology has to do with end of life of materials. So this is totally new. So if they want to contribute, they have to change their skins. They have to jump. And the same chemist. Chemical, of course, we have been producing. We are the material science. We have been producing materials, artificial materials, for 100 years. And so what? We create the plastic problem. Yes, we create the plastic problem. Plastics did not always exist. So plastic came to exist and after the war. No, most of the countries during the 30s was the very initial, but really plastic took over in the 50s. And the real plastic problem, it started in the 60s, in the 70s, when all the industries changed, all the materials to plastic. Now think for a minute, why did they change the materials? If the materials were working so well, they were not. The whole drive of plastics was to reduce the mass, the demassification. And as you know, this is Newton, F equals ma. So the more mass, the more energy, the more force you need to move the products. And that is where plastic comes in. Plastic has come in not to increase the impact or not to waste. Plastic has come in to reduce the energy consumption. This is a totally in agreement with ecology and with circular economy. Now, we should have noticed, we should have thought that plastics, because they are non-degradable, non-recyclable, they will become a huge problem, and they have become. This is a big mistake. The chemical industry has took too long time to recognize that. And I'm very sorry for that, because I was also part of the chemical industry, although for many years ago I started, pressed by my students, starting looking into biopolymers, into what can we do. But only recently we have really developed solutions for this problem. So, long story short, what I want to talk to you today, or what I want to call your attention, is the importance of the science underlying circular economy. Circular economy is a great concept, but need sound science. I thank you for listening to me. Bye-bye.